Hey everyone, today I hit a milestone in the Corolla. Today I broke 100,000 miles and I've had the car for almost 5 years now. Now Toyota Corollas are known for being very inexpensive, very reliable cars that are relatively cheap to maintain. Now that can obviously vary quite a bit depending on whether or not you do your own repairs like I do, how you drive, where you drive, and how many miles you drive per year. So for me, in the last almost 5 years and 100,000 miles, this car has actually turned out to be very reliable and very cost effective. So I'll go over everything that I've done to the car and how much everything has cost me. I've replaced the wiper blades twice now at $14 each. I've done 7 oil changes on the car. The first few were complimentary through Toyota, and I've done approximately 7 myself. That's about $30 each with full synthetic oil and a Toyota filter. The air filter I've replaced 3 times at about $12 each. I've also replaced the cabin air filter every 30,000 miles, the same interval that I do the air filter. It was a little more expensive, about $20 each. The serpentine belt I just did, that was $12. Also just did the spark plugs for $16. I also just did the engine coolant. I bought 2 gallons of the 50/50 Toyota pink pre-diluted stuff online. That was about $48 for the 2 gallons. I cleaned the throttle body twice and I replaced the gasket once. So for the cleaning fluid and the gasket was a total of about $15. I've also replaced the original tires. They wore out at about 57,000 miles. I put on a better set of Michelins that are good for about 80,000 miles. The tires were about $400. And I recently just flushed out the brake system, 2 small single pint bottles of brake fluid. That was about $10. Now the only thing that I've had Toyota do to this car, other than some of the complimentary maintenance, is I just had them change the transmission fluid on a car. That was obviously a little bit more expensive because I had them do it. That was $252 to have them do it, and they said they were able to replace about 50% of the fluid by doing it at the dealer. They said just the way these transmissions are set up now, you can't replace 100% of the fluid, but you're able to do about half of it. So it is something you're going to want to do at a little bit more of a constant interval because you can't replace the fluid in its entirety. You're doing about half at a time. So of all these items that I've done so far to the car for maintenance over the last 5 years and 100,000 miles was $1,087. So less than $1,100 to maintain this car for 5 years. So you're talking, that's a little bit more than $200 a year for this car. And that's pretty inexpensive for a vehicle. Now, the only repairs that I've had to put in this car, which are obviously not Toyota or the vehicle's fault, is I got a chip in the windshield when I was driving on the highway, so I had to have that fixed. That was $95. And 3 of the 4 tires I had to have replaced because of the road hazard warranty, which was covered when I bought the tires, so that actually ended up being a pretty good package to have. I got 3 out of the 4 tires replaced for $66. So in 5 years of having this thing, I've spent $161 in repairs. The car has been great. It hasn't had any problems, mechanical problems that are Toyota's fault. The check engine lights never come on, and nothing mechanically has ever gone bad or failed in this car. So I have to say, this car's proven itself to be very reliable. Obviously, 100,000 miles is not a lot of miles anymore like it used to be. There was a time when 100,000 miles, the cars were really worn out, and that was kind of the end of their life. But cars typically are going much further than they used to now. But if this car continues to be this cost-effective for the next 100,000 miles, I will be very happy, even though obviously the older it gets, the more likely you are to replace more parts. But as you can see, the first 5 years and 100,000 miles have been pretty inexpensive, and I'm very happy with this car so far. And anybody who's looking at purchasing this, or if you can work on this yourself, you can obviously keep the cost down significantly. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.